Nicole here. Take two on my return. So let me get comfortable here. What do I need to be comfortable? Yeah, I guess this is fine. Maybe I'll pour myself a glass of wine. Maybe not. I don't know. You can see my presents in the background. That's where I stored my presents. Ooh, this is hard. No, I'm going the wrong way. Right here. Those are my Christmas presents. And those are my candles that are burning right now. Pretty. Um, okay. I think this one's gonna be a long one. Uh, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. So I've been away because I've been really stressed. And honestly, whether it's like whether I'm interacting with friends or YouTube or anyone, I want to give people a good experience. Definitely not a bad experience. So like if I cry in front of the camera, I feel like I'm giving you a bad experience. But at the same time, I'm also being really real. So, like, there's a competing interest going on where I feel a sense of like, I feel a sense of like really wanting to be vulnerable to show that it's okay and also to help others to be vulnerable if I can. I don't know if I can help people or not. But, anyways, and then I want to give good experiences with like, I want to have fun. I want to laugh, I want to dance, I want to sing. But like life has been real stressful. Like I thought it was stressful before and it was, but like I think it's ramped up. So for me personally. So like what's going on in my personal life, I'm going to share as part of my journal entry for the art of being you. Okay, so back in May, I left 10 voicemails on an ex's landline um, that were pretty mean. I said things like, well, okay, trigger warning. I'm going to talk about suicide, sexual assault, and drug substance abuse in this video. Okay, so uh, that's the trigger warning for you. But this is my story, and unfortunately for me and my family, that it involves any of those things, like substance abuse. That's a scary box that you can't get out of easily once you're in it. And that's terrifying. I don't want to be trapped no matter where I go. I want my plan for my life, if I have a plan, is flexible, but I don't want to get stopped anywhere and get an addiction. Drug addiction is like a huge stop to your life, and it's awful. Um, and then sexual assault is really scary and leads to traumatization of your brain. And then, what else did I say? Oh, suicide. Yeah. Um, hmm, that one's really tricky. And I feel like it's really sad. So like it sucks that any of these things are have been a part of my life because I see my life as like this grand work of art. Whether it has a plot or not, I don't know. But um I mean if you want to subscribe to the God, which I think God is real, then like I assume that we're headed somewhere and that he has a grand plan. But like the grand plan for my life, if I'm the God of myself, um, yeah, like my plan is to have a good time and to like enjoy good company, good food, good sex, good everything. Like life is worth living, guaranteed for the good stuff. But like humans have needs, and when needs go unmet for too long, it's like suffering can result. And suffering, I mean, there's only so much DBT you can do to get yourself out of it. Um, I don't know if that's true. I mean, DBT is, I highly recommend for anyone who needs it or wants it, like look it up because it's pretty good. It's all about like reducing your suffering and accepting reality. And that's kind of like the severe cold notes of that. There's a lot more to it. But anyways, okay, so to my story, uh, I left 10 voicemails on a pseudo ex's pseudo ex because he never asked me to be his girlfriend. So he wasn't really an ex, but he we were in a relationship, an intimate one for sure. And um, he paid for everything. We went skiing, we went camping, we went to a concert, we went to lots of restaurants. I met a lot of his friends, partied a lot with him, did a lot of psychedelics with him and drugs. Uh, and that was him. Let's call him, I don't even know. I don't really want to use his real name. Um, but let's just call him John. So, John, I really liked. He was really handsome and he was really, really, really charming. Um, and he was very smart, well educated, had a really good job. He had his own place. He was, I don't know, like on paper, you'd be like, whoa, like, of course, I want to marry this person and be in a relationship and like whatever. I know jumping to the end, marriage, well, marriage is not the end, but anyways. And I really liked him, but he was really, um, he he would like text me and then sometimes like often he wouldn't text me back, and like even though it'd be like a direct question he wouldn't text me back, and I really thought it was my fault, like I was boring in some way or inadequate. And um that went on for several months, and then he had herpes and he told me that. And he was, and then later he pretended to put a condom on and in front of me, and then I found the unused condom while we were having sex, and I was just like dead inside, like so dead. I really liked him. I knew he didn't or couldn't reciprocate, but like to have it like pushed in such a physical way, like was heartbreaking for me. Plus, he had herpes, and I was like the next 3 months I was so scared of getting herpes. I didn't contract herpes, thank the gods on that one. Thank you, God. Because that would be even more awful. So things could be worse slightly. But anyways, um, and then I still didn't break up with him because I was younger and I really wanted to have a good time. I really liked partying. I really liked him. I liked his friends. Previous to him, there was another John who I partied with and dated for 5 years, who cheated on me, but like I had so many memories of hanging out with his friends and it felt like a community of people around me, and I really wanted to get that back. So that's what motivated me to stay in that toxic relationship that was emotionally abusive. It was. Um, he stood me up a few times. When I called him out on it, he told me he would do better. But then he had this girl, he invited me over and we did mushrooms, and then he had a girl call him and he went to his room and he would talk to her for half an hour, and I could just hear the excitement in his voice. And then when he came out, he was like, and I would have gone home if I was sober, but he came out of his room and was like, "Yeah, sorry, Nicole, that I didn't introduce you to her, but I just thought it'd be awkward." And then he just looked at me and was like, "And that's just the way things are." And I just gave him like, I looked up at him and I gave him my most beautiful smile, and I just nodded. Um, but like, I guess there's an arrogant part of me because I wasn't just gonna let that go. Anyways, the next day I called him and then he broke up with me. So that was the end of that, sort of. I wish that was the end of the story. I really do. Um, and this was after he raped me. But yeah, so this is not a happy video. This is pretty sad stuff. But I just need to like get it out there for me because I can't tell my story in the way that I want to. So at least YouTube is a way to tell my story in some way, like that I've been trying to do, because I can't tell other people about this, and so I'm just going to end up telling everyone. If I can't tell anyone, I'll tell everyone via YouTube and the internet. Smart, wise, dumb, I don't know what it is, but I just feel a strong urge to do it, so I'm going to do it. Um, so then, uh, what happened was I moved into my own apartment and I started online dating after a couple months, and I met somebody, and they really were pursuing me strongly, and I was still like pretty young and inexperienced with dating because I dated my first boyfriend lasted 5 years or 6 years from 18 to 24. So, like when I was 25, I was kind of like didn't have a lot of dating experience, and I kind of blame that what happens next on that, but also I don't know. So, anyways, this guy he kept asking me for pictures of me. He kept messaging me, and I should have blocked him, but I was kind of like, maybe this is the right one. Maybe this is the guy God has set for me, which is, by the way, a pretty toxic attitude, similar to twin flames. Like, that whole stuff is pretty toxic. The idea that, like, you have a soulmate, and then when you think this person is your soulmate, then you excuse a lot of, like, toxic behavior. Ugh, it just makes me want to throw up. So, anyways, uh, he one night I was really, really drunk, and I would have been on a date with my neighbor, my next door neighbor in this building I lived in, and he didn't sleep with me. And I guess I was feeling a little bit rejected. I don't know. But anyways, then this guy started messaging me, and I made the mistake of telling him I was drunk. And then he was like, "Can I come over? Come on, can I come over? Can I come over?" He just kept asking, and eventually I was like, "Okay." And I gave him my address and he came over and I almost died that night. I was almost murdered. Like I think I'm not sure if that's where the PTSD came from or if it came from John or maybe earlier in my life, but like yeah, I've been diagnosed with PTSD. So, um that was awful for me. And then I was really scared that he would kill me and that I wouldn't survive the night. Um but eventually he did leave and I was beat up. And so I called my one friend and he came and picked me up and then I went to the hospital. And then my friend called the police and so I didn't choose to press charges, but the police were like, who is it that assaulted you? And I told them his name and they were like, "Oh, that name sounds so familiar. I wonder why that name sounds familiar." And I read in between the lines and I knew that they were hinting that they knew this guy. So I decided to press charges and I had to go through like courts take like 4 years from start to finish. That's how long it took for me anyways. And it was awful going through that, truly. Like, I think no matter what side of the law you're on, it's pretty awful stuff. And lawyers are smart people, but judges and lawyers are kind of like, I don't know, everyone just does their job and there's no room for rationale. That's my impression of it. I can dive deeper into that if you want, but um, anyways, so sorry, I'm a little bit sick, as always. Don't be so negative, Nicole. RTT your way into healthy brains. RTT is basically brainwashing yourself into believing you're healthy, which kind of works placebo wise. Uh, RTT myself into getting better. Brainwash myself. I am not sick. So, um, so, um, before he before he came over that night that I was really drunk, um, he I had I had called my friend who worked at a framing store and I would she had a lot more dating experience and I like wanted her advice on what to do. Anyways, she didn't answer the phone. 9 times out of 10, she would answer the phone unless there was a customer in the store. And so she didn't answer the phone, and then I invited that guy over, or let him come over. And so then a couple weeks after that happened, my friend who didn't know what had happened to me at that point uh, told me, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Nicole. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to not answer the phone, but you would never guess who was there when you called. It was John. John was there, the first guy who raped me. Well, it is rape, but it's what is it called? Oh, what is it called when you pretend to put the condom on? Uh, there's a word for it that I cannot think of right now. It starts with an S. Anyways, um, and that really was a blow to like my whole psyche and like even on a spiritual level because I was like, why would God let that happen? Like, if he hadn't been at the framing store and my friend had answered the phone, I feel strongly that my friend would have told me to block this guy. And I guess it sucks that I needed a friend to tell me that rather than just do it on my own. But I feel like if I had blocked him, it wouldn't have happened. But also, if my friend had answered the phone when I called, I don't think I would have been raped a second time. So it was like, from my perspective, a lot of blame on John, even though it's not wrong, immoral, or unethical to go to a framing store. How could he have possibly known? But from my perspective, it was like a knife into my heart and then like twisting it. Toby, come, come, Toby. You want to be a good boy? Toby, for some reason, wants to go downstairs. Let's see if I can entice you to come here with me. Good boy. You a good boy. Here, you want to say hi to the viewers? So, he's so cute. Toby is the cutest dog. Um, so what happened next was that I went to midwifery school. So I quit my job. I was like, I really need community and I want to be surrounded by women. And so I went to midwifery school, and the first year was good, but then the second year I was in placement, and oh, that did not go well. I guess I'm not really meant to be a midwife. I don't know. I was good at it, but I was not good at dealing with my preceptors, and they were really mean to me. And they yelled at me a lot, which I find to be really unprofessional. But like as a student and in nursing or midwifery, I found that like preceptors often yelled at their, and I mean like literally yell, at their students. So that's really unprofessional and bullying. And I was seeing a lot of that. And then I my preceptor wrote a letter saying I was incompetent and unprofessional. And that really hurt my feelings because they didn't tell me they were going to write a letter. They didn't tell me they had any concerns about me. They just did it. And so like it's kind of like jumping in to the pool and swimming, like, and if you like rather than talking to someone about their issues, they would just like write you up and report you. And that's kind of how the system is, or at least how it was for me. um, and then on my last day, I remember, and this was at the same time me going through the rape trial. And so um, at the same time, my preceptor was like, on the last day, she's like, "Do you have any feedback for me?" And I was like, "Well, maybe you should actively give students the benefit of the doubt, because there were a couple of times when you thought that I was ignoring you, but I actually just didn't hear you." Um, and then she said, "Do you have a hearing disability?" And I was like, "No." And then she's like, "Me as your preceptor, I'm worried that my clients feel sexually assaulted by you." And I mean, meanwhile, I was like going through this rape trial. I never assaulted anyone. She just kind of said it, and then I backed off from giving her any kind of feedback. And then I decided that I wasn't going to continue my studies to become a midwife because it wasn't a safe place to be. Um, and that's the Coles notes of that. Uh, so then I became a nanny. And during this time, John's brother uh, started messaging me. And again, I guess I should not have responded, but all those old feelings flared up inside of me. And then he started flirting with me. And then I was really like, I don't know. So, like, I cried because I knew it was wrong, but I also really liked him. And so I would send him music, my favorite songs, and then he would send music back to me. Um, and then he started then he started sexting me, and I sexted back with him. And then we started an intimate relationship with each other. Um, but uh, that was not good. He was also really into drugs, and he was abusive physically. Like one time he took me to a bar and he shoved napkins really hard into my face. And it wasn't even because he was angry. I think it was more along the lines of just showing like people like around like what he could do. and showing me what he could do to me and that he didn't care. Um, Anyways, I really liked him too. He was also very, very charming. And it had been 5 years since I had seen John. So, uh, I got pregnant, and that was scary because I knew that I did not have a supportive partner. But a month into my pregnancy, I had a miscarriage. And so that's when I took time off work from my engineering job. I'm a civil engineer. So, yes, my life was very chaotic. And I know that I'm the common denominator of that. But at least I can say that I can hold down a full time professional job, which has been true throughout this. Um, Even if I don't love my job very much. So, uh, so anyways, his brother told me that he loved me, but then I went to a winery to draw, and he showed up with a girl, and I kind of just like something inside of me just snapped. Like I just couldn't handle it anymore. I just couldn't handle it. I didn't know that he was seeing anyone else. So I took a book and I wrote to John from his brother's name, and I delivered it to his house where I knew he wasn't home because I knew he was at the winery. And and his mom answered the door, and I didn't tell her who I was. I just delivered the book. That was all. I wanted to see her. I wanted to see her face to face. I guess I'm a tattletale, but I wanted to expose them, and I wanted everyone to know what had happened, which is maybe why I'm talking about it now still on YouTube. Um, so I left after that day. The next day, I left 10 voicemails on their on their landline saying I was going to kill myself on their property. And then I said other things too, like, did your mom touch you when you were little? Uh, so I said that, and I said that I would kill myself on uh, their property, and I asked them why they thought this was all okay. So that's what I left 10 voicemails on their landline. Um, and then nothing happened for a while, and then I was like, I knew that it was over between me and his brother, so I didn't do anything, and I went back to work. But um, the first day back to work, I got a knock on the door, and I was working remotely, so I was working from my home. And I answered the door, and it was two police officers. I thought they were doing a wellness check on me, but they had come to arrest me. So they arrested me, and my charges are criminal harassment via telecommunication because I left 10 voicemails on their landline. So since then, I've had to make court appearances once a month, which has really been hard. Um, and I'm supposed to, I don't know, like I have this one friend who I went to university with who's a lawyer now, and he's like, you need to get a lawyer. And so I don't have a lawyer yet, but I don't know, I'm going through the system, as it were, and now I've been on both sides of the law, actually. I have a lot of shame for what I did. I just needed somebody to hear me because my family, because I don't know, like, I recently started going to a Catholic church, and they have all these saints, and there's a Saint Francis, and Saint Francis has a prayer where he asks to seek to love more than you seek to be loved, seek to understand others more than you seek to be understood. And I pray that prayer a lot because clearly I need to, because I really want to be understood, but I guess that's not the right approach. The right approach is to try and understand other people and to try and love other people and not worry about being loved at all. It just was really hard because this person really hurt me, and I retaliated in the only way that I could. that's really the bare bones story, like the skeletal structure of the story. Um, I don't know why I care. I feel really pathetic that I care about this. And I'm sorry to cry. Like I said, I don't want to get bad experiences. But that's what I've been dealing with, and I created this mess, and like life is kind of like a stage play, and like I don't know why I wrote a stage play that was so depressing and sad and scary. I would much rather be in like I don't know, like maybe like what is it called? Four Women? The one with the four women and they're all sisters and like pretty much nothing bad happens in the story. Well, their dad's away fighting in the Civil War, but other than that, nothing bad happens. Little Women. I would much rather be in the Little Women story than in this story. Anyways, now to connect that all of this to pop culture. You know, Elon Musk like really kind of reminds me of John because very like no nonsense, like bam, this is the way it is, and no empathy whatsoever. And I can say that about Elon because Elon made babies with Grimes, and then also made babies with the CEO of Neuralink at the same time without telling Grimes. That's that's a betrayal that I don't think anyone sees coming. Uh, no, I don't know. It's a betrayal, that's for sure. But it produced two lives, so that's okay, I guess. But I don't know why like these men who treat women like that, why they get away with it. I don't really know why. And actually, one thing about my story is when when the police officer, so you get disclosure and screening when you are charged, and it's like the disclosure is like all the evidence against you, and then the screening is like what they're asking for in terms of a punishment. So, in my disclosure, there's an interview that John gives, and in the interview, he admits to raping me to the cop, a male cop. But nothing happened because of that, even though he admitted it into a cop. Nothing happened, and I'm the one who got arrested. And actually, ironically, I don't know if magic's real or not, or psychic abilities, or maybe it's just that I'm really like intuitive. I don't know. But the last thing I even said to him, I was talking to John on the phone because he had picked up on one of the times when I called, and I was drunk when I was talking to him. Um, and so the very, very last thing I said was, they're going to arrest you. And then they arrested me. So I guess I got that a little bit upside down. So that's everything that happened. And actually, I do feel better now that I've said it all. I, okay, so that's the past. Presently, I still have a job. That's good. Presently, I still have Tobe Tobe, who's behind me. He's my pet. Oh, you can't see Tobe Tobe. I have my little baby Toby, which I think is enough responsibility for me at the moment. Maybe one day I'll have a baby, a human baby. Oh, look how cute he is. Oh, you know you a cute boy, don't you? You know it. You a cute, good boy. Yes, you are. He's a good boy. So he's really cute. I like when he rolls on his back. That's so cute. Um, I really love dogs. I have a nice place to live. I have a job. What else? I have friends. Um, a couple of my good friends know what I'm going through. I have a support network. I've been through DBT therapy once, and I'm on a waiting list for another one. Uh, and yeah, so I have a lot of nice clothes. Right now I'm warm. It's a nice heated house. I ate dinner today. Christmas is around the corner. I'm gonna see some family. So that's present time. I'm safe. And in the future, well, future and present kind of mold together here, but I quit smoking pot and I quit drinking and I quit other drugs. And that's really good. So, and that's been helping me a lot because the drugs do not help me at all. Um, and I really regret it. John introduced me to drugs, but yeah, it took a hold. It took a hold. So, and I don't think like the way I talk and the way I present myself, especially on YouTube, well, and in real life too, I don't think it's obvious like that like I've had these issues with drugs. Um, but I have. And it's been awful. But and like it's like clawing your way out of a like I don't know, you just have to like claw your way out, I find. And it's like not that easy. So, yeah, but I'm dedicated to my health and well-being. And that is the story. Like, that's what's happening right now. The court stuff has not at all been resolved. I'll let you know when it resolves itself. Hopefully, it will be like a check engine light, like check engine light comes on in your car and you just ignore it until it goes away. And most of the time, nothing bad happens. So, hopefully, it's like that. Well, not that I can ignore it, but like that it will resolve itself, I hope. Please pray for me. And if any of you are a lawyer out there, uh, you want to represent me pro bono, um, that would be nice. Because I do think sexism was at play in my life there, with the cop and uh, just like the lies that were told and the manipulation and everything. It was rough. And I still kind of hope to get married, but I see it as like slim chances because I don't, even nice guys, I'm so scared. I really am so scared. I like men a lot too. It's unfortunate, but um, like there's something really sexy about men, especially a capable man, but like also terrified. So that's me. Working on it, sort of, but sort of not. And it's ironic because I work in a male dominated field, so yeah, I don't know. But I feel a little bit better now that I've said something. And I don't know if I was allowed to do this or what, but mm, I don't see the harm. I mean, I don't know what could happen, but hopefully nothing bad. So I will post this video. Yeah, and hopefully like I'll tell some funnier stories in the future, I hope, because like this was not a funny story at all. But my struggles have my struggles have been well, they've been struggles. So hopefully I get healthier. I really hope I do. And please, St. Francis, maybe if I pray via YouTube, it will get amplified. Please, St. Francis, help me to follow your prayer. Okay. Peace out, Girl Scout.